The people of Afghanistan are continuing to demonstrate their desire to communicate with the international community to better their lives, even facing the dangers presented by insurgents. This according to Brigadier General Eric Tremblay, International Security Assistance Forces spokesman.
The Afghans want a chance for their future, a chance that is being denied every day by the insurgents. The Taliban do not want progress to take place in Afghanistan.
Brigadier General Tremblay said the additional forces which have been sent by the international community are making a difference in the south, but more time is needed. Well, today's wars need a new type of thinking and new strategies. Those words from Admiral Mike Mullen when he and General David Petraeus spoke to the American Legion in Louisville, Kentucky Wednesday. Air Force Master Sergeant George Maurer has more.
Admiral Mullen said the lessons being learned in Iraq and Afghanistan today will serve the world well in the coming years. He said today's service members must understand and engage with local citizens where they operate. He called cultural awareness a process that takes time and one that requires a willingness to see things from another perspective. Admiral Mullen added while fighting insurgents in places like Afghanistan is important, perhaps a more important fight involves winning the trust of local citizens.
This isn't just a war against something, it's a war for something. The trust and confidence of the people who live there, who have given the chance will, I believe, choose not to allow themselves or their land to become a safe haven again.
While Admiral Mullen was talking about going beyond military-only solutions, General David Petraeus, CENTCOM commander, said armed conflict will remain a key part of Afghanistan for the foreseeable future.
In Afghanistan, we are engaged in a very tough fight. The security trend there in recent years has been a downward spiral in many areas of the country, with levels of violence at record highs in recent weeks in particular.
Finally, Admiral Mullen added today's service members have seen a lot, done a lot, bled a lot, and accomplished a lot. And the young men and women who serve in today's military represent a vital asset America cannot afford to lose. From the Pentagon, I'm Air Force Master Sergeant George Maurer.
The Department of Defense's recent launching of its new website, defense.gov, makes it easier for members of the public to have their voices heard. One of the new features is a We Want to Hear From You feature that invites users to ask questions and vote on policy issues they want explained. Price Floyd, Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs, said submissions will be tallied every few weeks, and Secretary of Defense Robert Gates and other senior leaders will reply to those questions. Mr. Floyd said the redesign places greater emphasis on social networking tools such as Facebook and Twitter, as a number of people getting their news from these sources is growing. And the U.S. Coast Guard Commandant says he believes social media is causing a fundamental change in our social atmosphere. Admiral Thad Allen spoke Wednesday about the importance of social media.
This is the information's sociological network equivalent of climate change. It's irreversible, and it's going to be a permanent feature of our life moving forward. If that is the case, we need to adapt to it, learn how to use it, learn what it is and what it isn't, and understand how it fits in with our ability to execute our mission.
Admiral Allen admitted he is a fan of Facebook and said the move towards social media seems to be irreversible and therefore the military needs to adapt. The 4th Stryker Brigade combat team, nicknamed the Raiders, is deploying for its second tour in 14 months. The more than 4,000 Raiders out of Fort Lewis, Washington are heading back to Iraq, but not before saying goodbye to their loved ones. They served in Baghdad and Diyala province in 2007 and 2008, conducting more than 550 combat operations. And family members and friends were on hand in the early hours on Tuesday as they waited for their loved ones to return home. Over 300 Pennsylvania National Guardsmen with the 56th Stryker Brigade combat team arrived at Fort Dix after a year-long mobilization overseas. Now that they are home, it's time to spend some quality time with their families. Well, coming up next on Around the Services, gearing up. Hundreds of bikers hit the Alps, and we go along for the ride. But first, underwater mountain. Scientists aboard a Coast Guard cutter make an astonishing discovery on the Arctic floor. Stick around. Sergeant Ted McDonald is back with more.